Hello, Fruitport High School AP Chemistry students. Welcome to today's little lesson. Both classes got to different points maybe in the bonding introduction. So I want to do a quick summary of bonding. The other challenge we're going to have with bonding this year is that those of you that took chemistry in 10th grade 2 years ago have a really good, like we spent like a month on bonding, whereas people who took it last year, you were given the opportunity to learn bonding, but with the quarantine legal rules, a lot of you didn't choose to do those assignments. So here's a quick introduction to bonding here, okay? So bonding is essential, and there's three types of bonding that we're going to talk about in this class, okay? Ionic bonding, covalent bonding, and metallic bonding, okay? And ionic bonding is where we have a cation that is attracted to an anion, okay? And so the positive cation is attracted to the negative anion. And usually the cation is a metal and the anion is a non-metal, but that's not always the case, and polyatomic ions are included. And in this case here, there's going to be a transfer of electrons. And so if you remember if we took the class, we did dot structures and saw electron switching, like sodium will give an electron to chlorine in order to make an ionic bond, okay? Covalent bonds are made of not ions, but atoms, okay? And these atoms tend to be non-metal atoms. Metalloids sneak in there, of course, sometimes, non-metal atoms. And in covalent bonds, they share electrons, okay? Now, in the next little sheet of paper, you'll see that covalent bonds are split into two subcategories. We have polar covalent and non-polar covalent bonds, okay? And then the other type of bond that's out there are metallic bonds. And metallic bonds are when we have a bunch of metals, where this is a metal and a non-metal, and here's non-metals together. This is when we have two metals, right? Two metal elements that are kind of bonded. And these are very different. Sorry, a little bell there in class. But what they're going to have here is we're going to have a sea of electrons. And so you'll see a little lesson at some point where you'll study the different, what a metallic bond looks like. Okay. Now, in addition to this lesson, we talked about this probably in class, this little chart here, where the bond types, which I kind of summarized here, and electron behavior, we had a transfer and exchange. Polars share electrons, but they don't share the electrons equally. And non-polar bonds do share electrons, but they share them equally. But to do the homework, you had to look up this. You can look up the electronegativity of elements. You can do it qualitatively without numbers, that a big difference in electronegativity values mean ionic bonds, and a medium difference are polar covalent, and a small difference. And here's an estimation if you need numbers to dictate what's a large difference or a small difference or a medium difference. And so you can actually look up electronegativity values in a chart in the book or on a doc in the on the internet, and you can do some subtraction to predict what kind of bond will form. All right, there's a really quick introduction to bonding. I'm going to make some more lessons in just a moment, more videos for you. Cheers.